What's going on, everyone? Bran here from Bloody Breakdown, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest news in a potential Insidious Sinister crossover. So this is something every once in a while over the last couple of years I've heard spring to life, that there's going to be another crossover type horror deal, another Freddy versus Jason, although not quite as to the level of magnitude of that film, but another crossover in Insidious and Sinister. I keep hearing about this, and it's something that kind of interests me. I think that the story could potentially work. I'm not the hugest fan of either franchise, but I think the original installments, at least in both of them, are pretty kind of stand the test of time, at least thus far. Have kind of held up, have been pretty interesting films. But before we even get into talking about this is also something else that's also a part of this article that I did release a short on recently, but I wanted to kind of mention it here again. I'll scroll up a little bit. This is absolutely hilarious. So all of this is coming from interviews. I believe this one was from Cinepop, talking to a couple of Jason Blum about some Blumhouse projects that were upcoming. And they asked him about Exorcist Believer, the first of the new trilogy that David Gordon Green is directing over at Blumhouse. They asked about Exorcist Believer, which is still going to be October 13th of a release date. And this is what Jason Blum had to say. Now, I want you all to prepare yourselves. A horror producer is going to tell you what you need to know about his upcoming horror release. You ready? I'm going to highlight it for you. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There you go. It's good. And it's scary, too. Like, thank you, horror producer, for telling us that your upcoming horror project is A, good, and B, scary. Now that we've talked about that breaking news, I guess we can move on and talk about the meat and potatoes here in this video. So, just thought that was hilarious. What the fuck else is he gonna say? Like, what else is he gonna possibly say? Oh man. Yeah, I guess maybe some specifics would have been good, but nah, we'll settle for good and scary. So we move on here to the talk of Insidious Sinister crossovers. Once again, this talk comes up every so often. I'll be honest with you, it's something that I think, if it ever does happen, should prove to be interesting. But it seems to me, at least at this point, this could be a developmental hell thing going on. But we'll dig in here. When asked if the Insidious Sinister crossover is going to happen, Blum said, quote, "I think it would be fun, but we need to find the right story. We developed it for a while, but we could never think of a big movie. And I didn't want to do one just to combine the two franchises. I wanted to make a movie that felt really good. We never had a great idea, but I'm up for it." So yeah, this is kind of what you're doing, though. I mean, my guy, I didn't want to do one just to combine the two franchises. That's kind of the entire idea behind it, whether you just want to say that or not. I get what he's saying, looking for a good story to be able to make it feel more natural, as opposed to, you know, forced, the story. I get that. I understand that. And honestly, it's something that I kind of do respect, because as you know, I mentioned Freddy vs. Jason earlier. You go back and you look at that film, and it kind of starts out with a pretty good premise on how to bring these two characters together and how one can utilize the other and how one can be utilized by the other. But the story just kind of goes off the rails pretty quickly. It starts out with a pretty good idea, and it's fucking out of here in no time. So I do feel what he's saying there, and I also kind of respect him not wanting to just put something out to, you know, cash grab in on the fact that you had a hit with Sinister, you had a hit with Insidious. They have elements that could kind of commingle together. Let's just say fuck it and do it. So I do have some respect for Jason Blum for doing that, instead of just, you know, throwing it out and trying to make money off these two franchises coming together. I respect that they at least want a good story. or at least a passable story. I mean, I'll tell you, sometimes whenever it comes to these crossover events, the final product that we get is often and many times not good. So the fact that this story that they had lined up didn't even cut the mustard when it comes to that kind of level of story, I guess that kind of says a lot. Personally, like I said earlier, I think it could work, but it's a question of why. Why should we do this? Is there really a reason at the end of the day that we should sit down, put these two IPs together for any other reason other than they were both popular on their own and we owned them? Like, if you can come up with anything besides that, I'm on board. And again, I can't wait, folks. I can't wait. Because if we ever do get this crossover between Insidious and Sinister, we'll also get an interview by Jason Blum where he tells us that this crossover is good and scary. So that's about it, folks. A little bit of a short video this week. I just wanted to kind of talk about this because it's something that keeps popping up, but I've never really got into any kind of discussion about it. We got a lot of stuff coming up at Blumhouse, folks. We got the new Exorcist, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this or not, but it's good and scary. Just ask Jason Blum. He'll tell you all about it. Yeah, Insidious is, I think it comes out tomorrow, or today, actually. So yeah, go check that out. Maybe we'll see Bagul and the Further go head-to-head soon one day. I don't know. But it is interesting to talk about the possibilities. So with that said, folks, as always, drop your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this story. Subscribe, notifications, like the video, all that YouTube jazz. Check the description. Some links to follow me, support the channel, if that is something you would indeed be interested in doing. And with that said, I'm Brent from Bloody Breakdown. We'll catch you all next time.